It didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. I guess it's fine. It's just a little behind. I just hope that I don't have to hear it. Hello, beautiful people. Sorry about that. We're going to skip the extended intro today. For some reason, this was a little slow. Yeah, see, that has to go. Okay, we're good. Little slow on the trigger for the Instagram, and I was hearing my own voice a couple seconds after, which is not going to work. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get right into it. We had a great one Friday with Eric Amy from Choo Choo Barbecue, and we're going to go right into a special late Monday afternoon, early Monday evening indulgent hour with my friend Brian, Chef Brian Fiasconaro from the Laundry Diner. What's up, man?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great. So you and I decided that we were going to have a little bit of fun today. So we connected like a couple of months ago. I was there having lunch, and you were at work. You had your Met hat on, and I said, "You're a Met fan?" And you gave me the perfect response. Would I be wearing this Mets hat like a badge of honor?
Yeah, you don't wear that for fun.
Met fan. No, definitely not. So real quick, this might be a record for me for tangents, but we're not even 2 minutes in yet. So speaking of the Mets, I was going to stop by on the way back because I went out to Rocky's Deli with my brother on Saturday, and we had my mom meeting us back at the house, and we just kind of like ran short on time. But when we were at Rocky's, as soon as I walked in the door, I was mesmerized because he like updated all of his menus, and he added a couple of new sandwiches. And the one that he added that I ordered, it was like immediate. Like I went there for that Red Storm special that they had with like beef and Cajun shrimp and bacon and Parmesan cream. And that was outstanding. Don't get me wrong. But when I noticed that they had a couple new menu items and one of them was Lee Mazzilli, I just that would be like automatic for me to get that, right? Lee Mazzilli, for those who are not, this was like late 80s when I was 7, 8 years old. The last time our Mets won, and that's fun. I was even busting my brother. I said, because we were talking about it as we sat down and ate, and I said, you have to respect your Mets history, even though the last time the Mets actually won a World Series, it was 4 years before he was even born, because my brother was born
I was 2 years old when last time. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's at least we still have it in our lifetimes, but I just remember being younger, and especially you had like the baseball card games. I don't know if did you ever play the thing where you had baseball cards and it was like a dice game and you had to read like off of like certain averages and things like that? It would tell you like how many bases the guy got. Did you ever hear of that?
No, I never played that.
So I nerded out with this. One year I got this game, and because I was a big collector. I had all these cards. And there was a game that had like a dice game, but it actually was, you use the players to like move them around on the bases. And there was kind of like a formula, and you would look at like their average, and their stats would dictate, still somewhat randomly due to the dice, whether it was a single, double, triple, whatever. And like I used to do this with Madden too. I would like keep track of like my stats and stuff like that. So yeah. I was heavy into that, not necessarily from watching the games, but just from being a Met fan and collecting those cards. So he had the Mazzilli. He had another one that was called the Happy something. That was a segment that Bob Murphy for ever since the 60s. It was like the Happy something, the Happy recap. And it was talking about what had happened in the Met games. I used to have I don't know, 6 or 7 game package with my friend. So I would end up going out there, parking underneath the highway there, and, and walking over past the chop shops and everything. It's obviously completely different situation now. And I've been back since then. But that's the perfect opportunity for me to ask you. So you've been here for how many years now?
I've been in Savannah for about close to 10, 11 years.
10, 11
years.
Okay.
Came down in 2015, so 11 years now.
Okay, 11 years. And prior to that, you were working in New York.
So yeah, so I was living and working in Brooklyn, and then before that, I grew up on Long Island.
Okay. Which is Bill? I believe Bill Vesicchio is from Long Island.
Yeah, he's a Long Island guy.
Yeah, so he's Mets. I know you're Mets. Are you Giants?
Giants fan, Knicks fan, Islanders fan.
Giants, Knicks, Islanders. Okay.
Yeah. I needed some winners in there in order to, not go absolutely crazy.
I totally see the Islander thing. I mean, I'm a Devils fan. I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I mean, the Devils are all we have left in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, I still kind of root for the Nets. I worked there for a couple of years after college. It's not the same, obviously, but I'm Mets, Giants, Nets, which I mean, obviously, I lived and died with every game for and that was a wild ride for those couple of years that I was there with the finals runs. And then Devils, I got to see, I will say I got to see 2 Stanley Cup championships game winners in person. The first
that's
one
awesome. So at the Prudential Center, whatever it was.
No, this was the old Continental or Izod, and then before that it was Continental Airlines Arena, and before that it was Brendan Byrne Arena. This was 94 when they swept Detroit. That was their first Stanley Cup. That was incredible. And then during the time when I want to say it was like probably just after college when they ended up beating Anaheim at home. I think that might have been a game 7. But I mean, they had a hell of a run there. I mean, I think they had like 3 Stanley Cups in 9 years. But out of the 4 sports, it's probably hockey playoff hockey is as fun as it gets. But I
agree with that. But still, hockey's not something I really watch until it becomes playoff.
And I don't really watch a ton of baseball games during the season. I mean, it's just such a long season. My friend Andrew has been a long-suffering Met and Jet fan for a long time, and that's
a bad combo.
Yeah, his dad's had Jet tickets since they played at like probably Shea Stadium, and he watches the Mets like all season long. I just can't do it. I don't have the attention span. I'll throw it on if there's nothing else on, But usually it's not that I'm fair weather, but it's usually like I do enjoy playoff baseball just in general. It's hard for me to.
I'll try and watch every Met game if possible.
Okay.
Even if I'm not paying that much attention to it, if it's on, it's going on TV.
Right on. I will say, the playoffs I get locked in, and I mentioned this yesterday when I was watching the NFL playoff games. All 4 of them were outside, which I thought was perfect. You're seeing the breath. There's snow. There's rain. It's cold. I thought it was great. My enjoyment of like playoff football is kind of hindered when it's like indoors. There's just something about that. It's like that sort of dull roar of the crowd that you also get with baseball, big baseball, not necessarily big, pretty much any baseball playoff game, because there's just so much anticipation, and you hear that like sort of like like that faint, and of course then they go crazy and everything like that. But hearing it in an outside game, there's just something about that, like in the fall and winter, that I feel much the same about baseball. Unfortunately, you and I have not had too many chances to experience that for the Mets, not in recent years. But I don't want to start off with on a negative note, because this offseason we could spend a whole podcast talking about how disgusted we are about what's transpired over the last.
It hurts me to talk about it. It's been a disaster.
But on the flip side of the coin, we have a new coach. I was busting Billy about that too. I said, now we have to come up with you have to find a new sandwich for the Harbaugh hire. I had a couple of ideas. I'll talk to you about those offline. I thought I had 1 or 2 that I thought were pretty funny. I'm pretty good when it comes to plays on words. But so since you've been here for, like you said, 10, 11 years, I know you spent some time at Husk, and you also spent some time at the Gray, correct?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Both excellent restaurants. Obviously, Husk. There's several locations here, Charleston, a couple other places. I've been there. It's great. The Gray, obviously, for anyone that knows food in the Savannah area, there's a ton of history associated with that. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about that. Is the other location? I think is it in France? Is that what I've been seeing?
It opened up in Paris.
Incredible. So both absolutely incredible places. there was a tremendous amount of anticipation for, and I should also mention, I buried the lead. So Brian and I are also both pro wrestling fans. As you can see, I'm surrounded by it. One of these days I'll get you over here so that you can see the full 360. You can check out.
Setup over there.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cool. I accumulated this stuff for a number of years, and then, this bonus room upstairs ended up being the perfect place for all of that, and then my workstation, and then what ended up being the perfect backdrop for a podcast. I don't know want to call it a studio, call it whatever you want. But it's an above ground man cave to the nth degree for sure. So Brian and I are simulcasting. We're watching Monday Night Raw live in Belfast, correct? Right?
It is. Yep, Ireland.
Belfast, Northern Ireland. Now that WWE Raw is on Netflix, they show the program when it's actually happening live. So this event is taking place as we speak over in Belfast, Northern Ireland. As you can see, I got my Balor Club shirt for Finn here.
I thought you were a CM Punk guy.
I am. I'm a huge CM Punk guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm also the type of guy that when I get home, the work clothes come off immediately. And the Balor Club shirt has graduated from, I say graduated because I'm comfort over style. The Balor Club shirt has graduated from I wear this shirt out in public to this is one of my wearing around the house shirts. Yep. So I just figure since we're in Belfast, I mean, I have probably easily 14 or 15 Punk shirts that I could choose from. But the only one that's as comfortable as this one is the original BITW in the AC/DC font across the front, that's the best in the world, but just the acronym.
Gotta be a pretty old one, huh?
Dude, it's got a hole too. Very tiny, barely noticeable. Lord knows what caused it, but that one's old school. But they re-released that one. So I bought the newer version of that on the shop. Dude, the quality of, or the lack thereof, of the Fanatics product.
Oh, they're terrible.
I just can't anymore. I just can't. And no disrespect to, what is it, Michael Rubin or whatever. He's got a great thing going. They do a great job every year with the Fanatics.
No, but they're definitely cutting corners over there now.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. I can't do it anymore. I can't spend $34.99 for a t-shirt that is just absolute garbage. And
once you wash it, it just stretches out in the weird places and never fits the same.
You can not dry it. That's fine. I not dry a lot of t-shirts. I'm a t-shirt guy, but you're right. Even just washing it, and then it just doesn't fit right. And it does it always drove me nuts how they would stamp the whatever they put on the shirt off center, and you could so easily see that it was not centered correctly.
Yeah. It's one of the a parking lot shirt you get at a concert. Yeah.
Exactly. And as you could see from what's around me, obviously, I've invested quite a bit of money over the years. This is you're not seeing any of the dozens and dozens of shirts that I have, some that are still in the rotation, some that have been retired or, like I said, graduated to the homeware. So we got Monday Night Raw going on in Belfast. So back to the laundry. This was quite a saga for a couple of years. It's actually the perfect time to bring up this. So these are a couple of shots that I took. Oh, perfect. This is what I love about Google Photos. So early December 2024, right? And this would be I'd be driving by to go to see, to go to Rocky's Deli or whatever. And then I was kind of seeing, and you would always see 85 to 90% of the time that I drove by, which I only get over there once or twice a week at most, but almost always you would see Liz's truck outside because there was so much time spent, putting into the building out of this place. And then when it finally opened, there was so much anticipation, and that really hasn't slowed down. And we're going to get to that in a second, because I know you and I spoke earlier, you're coming off a huge weekend in terms of, just activity and business over there, which is awesome. But how did it come about? So after being at those two places, what was it that ended up bringing you to, of course, for those of you who are not aware, Liz and James Massey, the owners of Two Tides Brewing, and of course the crispy food truck and Float Coffee. Now there's coffee in the tap room as well. This is another one of their properties. So how did this come about for you coming into the laundry?
So I was leaving Husk, and I just kind of wanted to get away from fine dining a little bit. Kind of wanted to move to something a little bit more casual, a little more fun, something that you could be, a little bit more just kind of easygoing with, not so uptight. Menus that are easily readable, and there's not a lot of words in there that people don't recognize. It's kind of like that stuff. Less tweezers. And then I was actually directed there by a friend of mine who said, "Oh, you're looking for something like, Liz and James with Two Ties are going to be opening up this diner. Like, that might be a good fit for you." So I reached out to them, and they had just moved away from the original chef that they were going to have work there. So it just worked out that I got an email back for about 2 days later saying that they'd love to meet, and that's kind of how we got hooked up.
And the rest is history. So when was this about calendar wise?
It was probably October of 24.
Okay, so a couple months before because the opening was, I believe it was December, right?
We opened in this past June.
What is? I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what?
So it was June 2025. We ended up opening.
Oh, okay, that's right. Because the pictures that I was just showing you, were from before. So there was and there was a lot of stuff that was holding it up, right? It was there was first the never ending road work, right? Right out front there.
What a disaster. Yeah, that was
right.
That was bad. Apparently the city was working on the drainage there because that street floods incredibly bad. And before they can get to the work to finish it, the street flooded again. So rather than dig it up again, I think they just filled the hole in, repaved it, and went on to another project. So that never really got resolved from their end.
Right. There's a funny there was a funny Instagram story of Alex and somebody sitting out at the picnic tables in front, and they're like almost up to their knees in water, like sitting there just casually enjoying like a coffee or whatever it was.
Yeah, we call it Lake Paulson, and it only opens a few times a year, but when it does, it's a majestic sight.
And Lake Paulson t-shirts are available for purchase, I believe, right?
Yeah,
I saw that in the merch.
T-shirts and sweatshirts, and those are actually pretty sure almost everyone in the neighborhood has one at this point.
That's incredible. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense because this was my first stop. And again, this is why I love the record keeping ability of this, because this was June 19th was my first visit. This was like I was saying, like within a week or two of you guys opening.
Yeah, shortly after we opened.
Yeah, this was the this was the original menu, and we're gonna get to more current stuff. And what I love is that you guys are constantly making changes. So you still have a couple of the original things that you have on here, but it is expanded significantly. There's always some tweaks that you're making. I could tell you right off the bat, dude, that my wife has a target on that catfish sandwich. She just forwarded it to me on Instagram the other day, and I think, I don't know, it was 1 or 2 words. It was very abrupt, but it was basically like, I need to have this sandwich. So that may have to get done, as we talked about, when we get over there this weekend, which is going to be cool because I've done the lunch a couple of times. I've done the breakfast a couple of times. I actually was at the preview at Bro Shoes, well, I want to say last year or the year before, right? Which was, I was even jacked up about that because it just kind of gave us a little bit of like, this is what this is going to look like. And we were there with a couple of friends of ours, and we indulged in quite a few of that, like I said, of that teaser. But essentially, since you finally did open in June, and it's been about 6 months, right? 6-7 months.
Yeah, about 7 months.
Yeah. And we just spoke earlier, like, it's been pretty what's to the wall for quite a few months now. I mean, and I said you have to share the whole backstory of it, because that's what there was so much anticipation, and the community has really responded. And I mean, again, I've only been there a handful of times. I drive great distances, obviously, to get good food, and obviously I'm going to be there plenty more times in the near and far future. But this place has been steadily busy for the last 7 months.
Yeah, I think for the first 3 weeks or so, no matter what day of the week, there was a line around the corner. Our weekends are still, from 9 a.m. till 3. We're on a 45-minute, half hour, sometimes longer wait. This weekend, it started about 8 a.m. Excuse me. And then we weren't off our wait till almost 4 o'clock both days. And even then, it was still just busy. So this was the first weekend we rolled out with alcohol. So finally got our license there. So I'm sure that helped. People have been waiting for that for us for a long time. So that's a nice thing to, add to our menus. And yeah, this place it's been so much more busy than we ever expected it to be, which is a good problem to have.
I love it. We talked about, as Punk comes out for the main event, the title match here against Finn Balor in Belfast. We talked about you mentioned the fact that they're having liquor now, right? So obviously, like we said, Two Tides. I mean, I was a fan of Two Tides since day one, and then they introduced and there was always food trucks at Starland Yard, and there still are, but then they introduced their own crispy smash burger truck, and then rolled out with Float with the breakfast sandwiches and everything else. Small bar, SMOL bar around the corner there, that little bar around the side. I saw, whatever it was, a month and a half ago, or not even, it was several weeks ago. They had to close down for what ended up being just a handful of days. But I know that was like kind of a concurrent issue to trying to get the liquor license for the I just know that like the day that they were at the courthouse getting that done, it seemed like it was quite a relief, and because it just seemed like it was there was some uncertainty there for a while, and we don't need to get into the politics and the bureaucracy of it all, because we have no control over any of that stuff. I was frustrated as a fan, right, as a customer, of just saying haven't these guys been through enough already with the challenges that they've had trying to get this business open, and what a tremendous positive impact the original business and businesses have had on, the Starland neighborhood specifically. And it's like the one getting over that hump, that's a big deal, especially after everything that all you guys have been through.
Yeah, and there's not many people I've ever met that work harder than Liz and James. I mean, the only person who puts more hours in there than me is Liz, and she's insane the amount of hours that she puts in, and it's all because she just really really cares about what she's doing.
1,000%. Again, starting with it wasn't an exaggeration. The seeing that iconic truck out in front of there, out parked around the side, and sometimes I would try. Sometimes she would just be there doing this or that, by herself there. Obviously, it takes a whole team to do this stuff. But you're right; she put a ton of hours into this. I think there's only been one time that I was there that I didn't see her around at some point doing something. I mean, even just the job that she does with the social media promotion and everything, which is that's part of this whole deal, right? Is yes, the people that live in and around there, the people that love food, and the people that follow and support or have supported their brands, they're going to come out, but word gets out, spreads farther than that, to where you have people like my buddy Campfire Tyler all the way over in Beaufort. Like, between performances, it's tough to plan and schedule that stuff, but I know Like he's got it at the top of his list of like, I got to get out there. And the ride from Beaufort to Savannah it's quite a hike.
Yeah,
You know,
it's not a short trip.
no, like even just getting to Lincoln and South today to go have lunch with Craig over there took me it took me almost an hour just to get out of Savannah because of the MLK parade that we were talking about and so many streets being shut down. But it's still no traffic. It's a good solid hour from Savannah to Hilton Head, and you're looking at it about the same. But the fact of the matter is, just like I said before, if you love food and you appreciate great places, I mean, I drive almost an hour in the other direction to get out to Beato's on St. Helen Island, you know, and I did it a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday when you can get their breakfast menu, or at least the ones that are on the special menu. You can get those for the whole day because it's very difficult for me to make it out there during, you know, breakfast time, whatever those are, because it's almost an hour away. But I will drive great distances for great food. So that being said, I want to dive into that a little bit. We'll kind of cover like what the evolution has been here. That might actually be you. There's a Met hat right there, bro. I think that's you walking into the kitchen.
Yeah, that's me.
Right. So this was early December.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty early on.
Yes. And these are the counter seats. That day I enjoyed some fried pickles, some onion rings, which is I love the crisp and the breading and the onion rings. This was I went back to this. So this was we did a little bit of breakfast and a little bit of lunch, but this is what I got when I originally went to the preview at Bro Shoes, which was the fried chicken over the waffle. And you guys have there's a whole waffle category that we'll get into, but you guys got the waffle, which is it's super, like it's like fluffy, it's soft, but it's also like not like super thick like a Belgian. Like it reminds me of kind of like an elevated, like what you would get at like a Waffle House, like that style of thickness and texture, right?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the food there, or the original menu anyway, was modeled after an elevated Waffle House kind of vibe.
And we didn't even talk about that before, but that's where I landed, and that's crazy that's kind of pretty much the angle that you were taking. So we have in a dish like this, your fried chicken with sausage gravy over the waffle. So, you know, chicken and waffles an institution down here. But like you were saying, these things, a chicken and waffles, as an example, does not have to be overly complicated and complex to be awesome, which is what obviously, you know me, dude, in the short time that you and I have known each other, I don't really go back to like if I'm ordering Chinese food or something, I'll always get dumplings, although they shorted me my dumplings the other night. I was not happy about it. I did get a DoorDash credit for that. But I like to try different things. And yes, there might be certain things that I come back to, but it's a big deal for me to go back to a place that I've been to, you know, only a couple of times and get the same dish that I got night one. And it was a no-brainer for me because that's how good this dish is to me. And obviously the sausage gravy plays a big part of that. The quality of the chicken breast and the fact that we're not talking about like a greasy piece of fried chicken. I mean, this is a crispy, you know, dry before it gets obviously drenched in this unbelievable sausage gravy. But the combination of textures and flavors on a dish like this really blow you away.
Yeah, something like a chicken and waffle, it can be done simply, or and still be done extremely well. I think the quality of the ingredients we use, the techniques that we're using, and just the attention to details are definitely what separates us apart from those turn and burn other breakfast spots in town.
Yes. And the other thing is, like we talked about, we can elevate these dishes. So you can get with the chicken and waffles, or really with any of these dishes, you guys have it is a foie gras butter. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's to take some foie gras, we clean it up, render it down. We season it with a little bit of maple syrup a little bit of bourbon. And it's so good on one of those waffles with, some chocolate chips and some pecans, some foie gras butter. Can't really go wrong with that.
No, definitely not. I mean, when there's I know there's even more now, but when we originally started out, you had the waffle again, the whole section. You can go single, you can go all the way up to a quad stack. You'll get that with whipped butter and maple syrup, but look at all the toppings that you can get: pecans, chocolate chips, strawberry caramel, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is where Liz and the gang has a lot of fun and has had a lot of fun for the last however many months with, I mean, because it's just like the idea with Two Tides, with all the sours and all the beautiful colors, and they just have such unbelievable creativity with the things that they put out there, and all of these colorful cereals, which I haven't gotten into that department yet. I'm more of a savory guy, which isn't to say that I won't, believe me. That Fruity Pebbles got my name all over it, and my brother has not been there yet, and my brother is a Cinnamon Toast Crunch fiend. When my brother was younger,
the Fruity Pebble one is definitely our best seller, but
okay,
all those cereals and all that's definitely a big imprint on Liz's impact on the menu, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you can tell, like, if you look at some of the stuff that goes out there for Two Tides, and then you look at some of the stuff that goes out here for laundry, just so colorful and, like I said, creative, and just, and there's always a lot of good music in it too, but just visually with all of these different things, and you get into spiced sorghum syrup and barrel aged syrup, and again, foie butter, bacon, sausage, green onion, all the different things that you can add to these. It's incredible. I was gonna say, my brother used to do Captain Crunch, and he would mix it with, he liked the one with the Lucky Charms, with the marshmallow thingies or whatever in it.
Yeah,
I wasn't into that, but he would combine the two. And then even like, and again, fortunately, he's still not doing this at his adult age, but when you're younger, it doesn't matter much. On top of all that, he would sprinkle a little bit of that cinnamon sugar on it too. He was basically, and he was eating it out of like the bowl that like Jason Segel eats it out of, and like forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, like the biggest bowl in the house kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. My man used to keep his own like quart of milk in his beverage refrigerator downstairs, so he could indulge in his cereal. I was never the biggest cereal guy, but I'm gonna get on that. Those are on my list of again, the short list of things that I haven't had the chance to try yet. So that day, in addition to the chicken and waffles, Jocelyn enjoyed the steak and eggs. So we had what are the steaks that you're using for steak and eggs these days?
So we use a New York strip.
Got it.
And we koji age it. So we bring in some koji rice, and then we'll ferment that with salt, a little bit of water, turn that into a paste, and then all of our steak gets rubbed with that. It sits for about 2 weeks, and then we clean them up, and that's the result.
Incredible. She went with the French fries, which I'm a big fan of the fries. Obviously,
that dish has gone through a little bit of changes too since you took that picture. Yeah.
Okay.
It's looking a little bit nicer these days.
Got it. The shrimp salad. This one I've had the shrimp salad, and there was an iteration where there was a shrimp salad sandwich for a little while there too, with the Georgia shrimp. Enjoyed both of these. I feel like I've had the salad twice. I had the sandwich when I went and had some lunch with the team over at Pilot and Park. We were kind of doing like a little bit of a showcase on them over there, and we figured, where better to pick up breakfast on the way out there than to stop at the walk-up window, which is the window that's facing Anderson Street. You can call in your order for anything, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything on the menu. You can call that in, grab and go. You can do the coffee from there, the snacks, the sweets, the milkshakes. So if you're looking at it from the corner, from the front here, the pickup window's over here. No, it's all the way over here to the right. The second window to the right. Yeah, right behind this pretty bush with the purple flowers, and you'll walk up and you'll see there's the to-go window. They make it very easy for you. They got the little umbrella there and everything. And the drink menu has gone crazy, and this was even before, remember, we've got the liquor license was very recent. So I took this photo, like I said, this was early December, and I have some more recent ones and stuff like that. But even just like, coffee, non-alcoholic, they had the couple of beers, which of course are coming from Two Tides, including the Laundry Diner inspired Diner Lager, which is a classic Pilsner, a nice crisp and refreshing beer. And then they also have the Diner IPA, which is an American IPA. They were using obviously the seltzer initially, but now that they have the liquor license, they're going to start getting crazy with that too. I would just go and check their websites, guys, their website or their socials to get the full. And you can see. So we saw the picture of the menu before, and then this was, you skip to. No, that was. This is saying that was from.
And we just redid the menu again, so now it's
yeah. So this is from.
Time, it'll be more like a formal diner menu, a book with 2 pages.
Oh, and now you actually did. Oh, okay. So this was from right before. This was Christmas Eve when I came in for breakfast, and you had gone up to New York for to see your family for Christmas, right? So yes. We have even, what you're saying is we even have a newer iteration from when I was there, not even like 3 weeks ago. We have another new one.
Yep, and we added some new menu items onto it, and tweaked some other things in there too. So some more surprises for you when you come in this weekend.
I love, and that's what I love, dude. That's what I love is every time I go, it's like, oh, they have this now. The milkshakes. I'm finding myself taking, a couple of baked goods and a couple of this other stuff and the milkshakes for the road. I love the citrus whip, whatever it is, the seasonal thing. And I really enjoy the dirty try where they throw all right. So let's talk about mozzarella sticks for a minute. Okay.
All right.
I got vetoed on Saturday because my mom was already on her way to my house, but I legitimately, after having like a sandwich plus at Rocky's, I pumped the brakes after like a sandwich and a couple of bites. I could have eaten more, but I was like, let me just say that.
I just want to say Rocky's is my favorite place to go to eat when I'm not at work. I'm there at least 2 times a month.
Okay.
It's insane how much it's like a piece of New York down here, and it's the only place that kind of scratches the itch for me sometimes.
It's as if you picked up a New York Italian deli at a New York, New Jersey, like North Jersey, New York, Long Island, whatever. Picked it up and just put it down right there in Starland. Billy and the team are incredible. Talk about cranking out new stuff all the time. I mean, you say that you twice a month. I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm probably on the over right now for 2 times a month. And again, we're talking 45 minutes easy from my house. So my brother and I, he works remotely, so usually it's difficult for it to not be a Saturday that we end up going out there, and an occasional Friday maybe. But we were on the way back Saturday, and I almost pulled. And I've done this quite a bit. I've done the Betos, hit Hunter and the squad at Locals Only in Ladies Island on the way back. Not Locals Only, Locals Raw Bar. Locals Only is that great little tap room on Hilton Head. My friend Shona does a great job with. But I'm very easy for a 2-step, and I was about to call in an order of, because my brother is a connoisseur of fried galamon, as us Italians call it, fried calamari and mozzarella sticks. And I told him these are the best mozzarella sticks that I've ever had. And I got just yesterday, I got a Preach Bro or something like that from Lydia, who was there with Chef Robbie Colson like 2 weeks ago. But I think it was before or after they went and did some wild mushroom foraging. He had a crazy cheese pull on the mozzarella stick. Now, for those of you in the audience who are not familiar, Chef Robbie is the head chef at Michael Anthony's Cucina Italiana on Hilton Head. Okay, so this guy, and I'm not a chef, but I've been eating Italian food, specifically marinara sauce, whatever you want to call the sauce, my entire life, made by some of the best cooks that I've come across in my life within that category. And I'm not talking about cooks that cooked in restaurants. I'm talking about old school Italian grandmother sauce. Okay. I am very, very particular. I'm not going to say that I haven't had red sauce at, a Michael Anthony's or a Pomodori or a Cafe Al Dente. Like, there are sauces that pass the test for me, and my qualifications are very high. And I know I'm building this, I'm building up, but I have the endorsement of several other people in this. This tomato sauce the mozzarella sticks alone are incredible. And the cheese is perfect, and the breading is perfect, and the temperature is perfect. It took a lot of restraint not for me to crush this entire order on the spot. I think I might have came home with like 2 or 3 because I had to pump the brakes. I had other stuff, which we'll get to. This sauce, bro, I don't want to unnecessarily drop expletives, but this sauce is effing really good. Can you talk to me about because this is not the only item, and we're going to talk about some other stuff, but this sauce is available, has been available with the sticks and 1 or 2 other things. Tell me about how this sauce came about.
It's just real simple. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the meatballs.
Okay.
It kind of ties into that a little bit. So the sauce itself is just canned tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes, rosemary, and some garlic. And then what we do is we take the meatballs and we braise our meatballs in that sauce. And then that's the same sauce that's going to get served with the mozzarella sticks. So you have all the flavor from those meatballs, which are, more rosemary, more garlic, the 2 types of cheese that go in the meatballs, and all that gets baked into that meatball, tomato sauce. And then that's what goes with the mozzarella sticks. So try and get as much flavor as possible into that little sauce.
Those are the recipes that, like I said, the Italian mother, the Italian grandmother, they start the meat, usually meatballs, but you could have sausage. You could have my mom's mother, my grandma Annie, did the braciole, which was just, by the time that stuff was done, it was like literally melt in your mouth. It was so
that's
tender.
a labor of love.
Oh yeah, dude, for real. We're talking about, guys, this is the meat that's like tied up, and slow cooked and everything like that. So finishing the meatballs and whatever meat that you're using in that sauce gives the sauce an entirely different profile and texture, and it's got some zip to it too, dude. Like
there's a little bit of chili flakes in there.
Okay. The perfect accompaniment to the perfect mozzarella stick. I should have thought ahead more and more detail and pulled that photo from Robbie, but I believe it's on his Instagram feed. So she chimed in with the endorsement because I said, these mozzarella sticks are incredible, and Lydia jumped right on there because they tried a couple of things, but the lasting impression that you left on him was certainly, or at least one of them, was the mozzarella sticks. I did a patty melt with some shishitos. I can never say no to shishito peppers, whether it's in an Asian restaurant.
They're so good. I mean, everyone does them at some point, and they're just amazing. Anytime I go to a restaurant, they have them, I'll always order them. They're just
same
great snacks.
I'm batting 1,000 on ordering shishitos. One time we were in Key West at a place called Santiago's Bodega, which is like a popular tapas spot down there. I doubled up. We did we were eating around town. We did like 4 or 5, tapas, and I doubled up on the. I was like, I need another order of those shishitos. They had some sort of like crema or aioli on them down there, but these, again, very simple, right? Sesame, tossed around.
These bene seeds, which are basically an heirloom variety of sesame seed, and then just some lemon juice and some salt. And that's all you really need on those. Those peppers are too good to cover them up with too much.
I agree. Let the flavor stand for itself. And for those of you who are wary, a lot of these peppers tend to range. Shishitos do not really get to even medium level spicy, in my opinion. You can get a couple that have a little bit of zip to them, but they're not.
Every once in a while, you'll get one, and be surprised by it. But yeah, it's nothing too overwhelming.
It's not like the risk that you take when you're eating the Italian long hots, and you get one that hits you a certain way, and you're like, I need a minute. like I had one that hit me in a restaurant back up in New Jersey one time, and I had to excuse myself. And honestly, I just needed to be in a room alone so that I could compose myself, because they hit me like a torch, dude. It was incredible.
They'll light you up.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I did a patty melt, fantastic. So this was my first biscuit. I had another one, and we're gonna get to that, the breakfast, in a minute. But this was the chicken biscuit. I won't name names because we don't like to get into this is not a competition here on the Indulgent Hour. But I privately said to you, you're giving blankety blank a run for their money with these biscuits, and as if to say, these are some of the best biscuits in town and well beyond. Obviously, you got a couple of the slices of the pickle on that one, which adds the perfect dimension. I've already talked about how much I love the fried chicken and the chicken and waffle. And then I just want to skip ahead because I did it with the standard breakfast sandwich, Christmas Eve.
That's the move right there,
dude.
The biscuit breakfast sandwich,
dude. Let me tell you, what you don't see under this egg and cheese, just heap of egg and cheese. Look at this. I mean, come on, guys. What you don't see under this beautiful, cheesy, yolky egg is there's a substantial sausage patty under there. And what I love about Brian's team is that someone had the whatever word I want to, the wherewithal or the thoughtfulness or the ingenuity to say, you want to throw a little bacon on that too? Yep. Threw a slice or two of bacon on there. This was spectacular. Such a great breakfast sandwich. The biscuit.
Do you get it do you keep the salt, pepper, ketchup on it?
So I did not do salt, pepper, ketchup, but I believe I did get some laundry sauce.
Okay.
So I think that's what you're also not seeing is I just lifted the lid and I put a nice dollop of the laundry sauce on top of that. So here you have my hash browns, right? I'll do ketchup all day long with the hash browns. If I'm going to Waffle House, my order is smothered, covered, and capped, I believe. So cheese, onions, and mushrooms. Whenever I can get mushrooms, I'm always going to get mushrooms. So I'm all about the ketchup with the hash browns. I prefer, at least me, I prefer not to have ketchup on the actual breakfast sandwich.
Fair enough. I personally am not a huge fan of ketchup at all.
Okay.
But every once in a while, if it's on an egg sandwich, I can get away with it.
Okay.
But ketchup's not usually my go-to condiment.
No, my wife is bacon, egg, and cheese. She'll put salt, pepper, ketchup on that all day. We actually had a breakfast place back home for a hot minute before we left that was called salt, pepper, ketchup, which I thought was interesting.
That's a good name.
Yeah, right. The sandwiches weren't as good as the name would indicate, but they weren't bad. It was.
I also I like educating the people of the South what SPK means, because a lot of people just don't know.
Right. You're right. That acronym is not as universally known. There's always going to be teasers of Finn Balor gets a near fall on Punk after a coup de grace. There's always going to be they're always going to show you what they have going on in the display case. Liz does a great job with that. This is the counter over here with the bakery side by the window. I had a piece of this quiche while I was there too. I don't remember exactly what it was on this particular day, but as I looked, this is right before your guys put the lid on there. So I said, you know what? Let me grab a piece of that quiche. They put it on top of this. What's this nice? Was this a cheese that they laid that on top of?
That's a whipped sour cream.
Okay, that was very tasty. It was a nice kind of a cool combo with the warmed slice of quiche. I just because I do what I do. I'm like, I can't have a breakfast at Laundry without having a little bit of sausage gravy. So I'll be honest, at this particular sit down, I did pretty well with this combo here. I did end up taking the most of that sausage gravy home with me, and I kind of included in my own little, excuse me, concoction of an egg breakfast situation, which something I like to do. I mean, when I was I had to go to Atlanta for a couple of days, and I hit the Krog Street Market. My friend Chef Anders Graham told me you got to go to Krog Street and you got to go to Fred's Meat and Bread and get a Korean cheesesteak. It had like candied jalapenos. I talked about it last week. Candied jalapenos and gochujang or something like that. I got an Italian. I got two things. I got a chicken, their shroomy, whatever their mushroom situation was, with chicken instead of steak for later that night because there really wasn't much to eat near where I was staying. And then I got an Italian, their Italian hero, for the next day. On their Italian, they put oil and vinegar, and they put like a garlic aioli. And I really didn't want it to kind of get gross especially the next day. I'm eating in the car, driving home or whatever. So I said, just keep that on the side. And I didn't end up using it. And then I made a bacon, egg, and cheese yesterday on a there's a place in Bluffton called the Sugary that has pretty great bagels, and their everything bagel is, they call it a bird food. Okay, Punk one. He's wearing the Bret Hart inspired.
Yeah, it was
pink trunks.
It was a good match. I think they need to do it again, but I think Balor needs to come out as the Demon.
We haven't seen the Demon in a while.
Long time.
The question is this handshake going to stick?
I don't think so. Balor's way too much of in the heel game right now.
He is.
I feel like you're gonna get him jumped by the Judgment Day.
It's a sick tattoo he's got on his arm. I haven't noticed that recently.
It looks pretty new.
Yeah. He's always been one of my favorites. He kind of, oh wow, the hug. That's not gonna. No way he sticks with that. It always annoyed me that he never got his rematch.
Yeah, he never lost his title.
He never lost it. He took that the drop kick, I think I want to say, back into the barricade and separated his shoulder. And then, I mean, he's always in unbelievable physical condition. Impressive that Punk could hang with it because, and Punk was getting some shit after the Braun Breaker because there was a couple of botches in that I don't know were necessarily his fault. I mean, what he's doing at his age is impressive enough for me, but to have a match like that with Finn, who's, like I said, you could slot him in any company and he could be world champion in any place. Finn Balor, he's always been one of my favorites. So anyway, the garlic aioli, I held on to that, and I had it on the everything bagel at the Sugary, is they call it bird food, and I put that in the toaster for a little bit, and then I did a couple of eggs, over easy, over medium, and then the bacon, egg, American cheese, and that garlic aioli was like the perfect addition to it. I agree with you. I'm not the biggest ketchup person, but that was a great breakfast. And I'm gonna, while we're doing this, we'll get everybody a couple of these newer, more updated photos from these last couple of weeks since the holidays. So let's talk about, I always like to kind of bring things, not necessarily full circle, but I always try to keep the last couple of minutes or the last couple of segments, if you will, on what's coming up. So we talked about the catfish sandwich that's on there now. My wife, and understandably so, is dying for this. I had a nice piece of catfish last week from Choo Choo Barbecue, where I interviewed the owner, Eric Amy, from there. I hadn't had like fried catfish in a while, and I forgot, how much I liked it.
It could be really good if you treat it nicely and put a little bit of care into it. It's a great fish. It's versatile. It's inexpensive and it can hold a lot of different flavors.
Cornmeal crusted. Tell everybody, because this is what I love too, dude. I love to learn about this stuff, right? So when I'm at even your restaurant, right, where things are not overly complicated, every once in a while I have to educate myself. And I apologize because I have looked it up. I just didn't retain it. What is am I pronouncing this right? Grabiche?
Grabiche. Yeah, so it's the way I explain it to the staff is really it's an elevated tartar sauce. So it's a mayonnaise-based sauce, which we're making there. We use cornichon pickles, which are small little tart little gherkins. There's some capers in there, some lemon juice, and what really makes that sauce stand out is kind of the use of tarragon, and then folding in actual hard-boiled eggs into it. So you have this insane richness that's backed up by more hard-boiled egg, and then you have this kind of sweet anise flavored from the tarragon and the tartness from the pickles. And it's just one of my favorite sauces to kind of make and definitely have with fish.
You're a bad man, Bri. That sauce alone is that's reason enough to take this guy down. That sounds spectacular. I actually had a Reuben. I went to a place when I was out of town, and they had a half Reuben, half Cuban. And the Cuban actually had a pretty interesting, like, greenish sauce to dip that in. I don't really know what was going on with that. It was maybe like a garlic mojo kind of situation, aioli. I don't know what gave it the green color, but they also had like a Russian. Is that typically what on a Reuben? I feel like, is it Russian or Thousand Island?
It's usually Russian dressing.
Usually Russian, right? This Russian man had what you're saying, like the chopped up hard-boiled eggs in the sauce.
And yeah, it's a game changer.
I said to the guy, I go, are there hard-boiled eggs in this Russian dressing that I'm dipping this Reuben in? He goes, yep. Incredible. So when you said that, and after you talked about Cornish, I mean, I celebrate the entire catalog of pickles. And in addition to that, you have pickled shallots in there. Shallots are, I mean, I love pickled, crispy, any shallot, I'm in.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, they hold pickles so well because they're so sweet already. So they add that, acidic pickle brine to it. It's a nice touch.
And you got this nice seeded brioche roll.
Those are so good. They're from Stevedore Bakery over in the Eastern Wharf.
Stevedore is incredible.
It's awesome. Their sourdoughs are great. Their brioche is great. Their croissants that we sell are awesome. And yeah.
Shout out Stevedore. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna put. Remember we talked about how proud they were to get that picture out in front of the courthouse, and
yeah, there they are.
Liz says in the caption something about, like, don't ask me about my outfit or something like that. She really is hysterical. But this was, like I said, long, hard fought, and to get the license to do, cocktails, wine, mimosas. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, we'll start rolling out that we started this weekend with just some Prosecco, simple stuff, Prosecco, some Bloody Marys and mimosas, and then starting this week we'll start bringing in more liquors and have the whole bar up and running hopefully by the weekend.
There was a post about selling the first bottle of Prosecco. What was it?
7:30 in the morning.
Saturday?
Yep. That was the first day we did it, and they just happened to be 2 night shift people coming in, and I'm sure we're excited because it's hard for them to be able to get off of work and go somewhere and grab a drink, just like anybody else would want to do, getting off their job. And yes, so it's nice to be able to have people in the neighborhood that are ready to early morning mimosas.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay. So we started off with like limited hours, and then we got into the more regular hours, right? And as I also wanted to show these the disco fries. I got my disco fries without I'm not the biggest pimento cheese fan, so I got my disco fries without. You can get them without if you want the pimento
Next time you
cheese.
come in, just ask for shredded cheddar. I'll throw cheddar on there for you.
Oh, okay, that's cool. They actually, you know what? They actually did put it on there and then they fixed it for me. But I will. No, I'll definitely try that with cheddar. That's what I wanted to ask you though, right? So the goal here is people want to come in for early morning breakfast. People want to come in for lunch. People want to come in for dinner. And if people want to come in late night, they want to have something to eat. They want to have a couple beers. I think we got some games on, right? Upstairs.
Yep, there's TVs upstairs.
Yes. So pretty much anything that you want to do at the Laundry Diner. You want to come, you want to, take out your laptop, probably better off doing that upstairs. You want to get some work done. You want to read a book, you want to sit outside, whatever the case is. It's all available to you at the Laundry Diner, in addition to an ever expanding menu.
It's our same menu all day too. So breakfast at 10 o'clock at night, or you get a steak at 7 in the morning.
I love that flexibility. So you can order off the entire menu all day. Oh, I found it. There's Robbie. Look at that. Look at the cheese pull.
Yeah, that's a good cheese pull right there.
Incredible, right? I'm so glad I looked at this. So you guys reshared it. Awesome. Guys, go check out Laundry Diner on Facebook and Instagram. Again, such a fun follow. There's my post, Christmas Eve Breakfast of Champions, sitting there solo at the counter, BSing with the crew. You got your float coffee, burrito, breakfast burrito. That's so before I let you go, I want to talk to you about one or two things. What are some of the other stuff that you're excited about menu wise? We saw the catfish sandwich, which I know my wife's going to most certainly order when we go there for dinner this week. What are some of the other things that you're putting on there that you're excited about?
My favorite thing to eat there when I go there is I always get the Caesar salad with a piece of fried chicken on it. That's
okay.
My
you go
chicken.
On shrimp. You go chicken. Got it.
Yeah. The other salad we do like a really nice heirloom grain salad, which is kind of a sleeper on the menu. People that know about it know how good that is.
That's the vegetable and grain salad. Sprouted grains, veggies, lettuces, collards, and herb vinaigrette. Add grilled chicken, fried chicken, or shrimp.
Yeah, that's a real sleeper. We got a matzo ball soup that hit the menu this weekend.
Oh.
So that did pretty well for us this weekend. And then chicken wings also went on the menu this weekend.
Talk to me about the wings.
And then some more. Oh, so yeah, they're just lightly brined.
Yeah.
A different brine that we used for our chicken breast, just a little something simple. And then we confit them in duck fat. And then we fry them in beef tallow.
Oh, baby.
And then they're tossed either with lemon pepper seasoning or with our house hot sauce, which is kind of based on a sriracha recipe, but it's very, very ginger forward, lots of garlic, and obviously chilies. And that we let that ferment for a few days, and it just has such good heat from both the peppers and the ginger, and a lot of fruitiness. And it's so good, especially when you get those chicken wings cooked in the beef tallow. Comes together really well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say Two Tides came out with a lemon pepper beer.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that was happening the same week until Liz was like, "Oh yeah, it just so happens we're coming out with a lemon pepper beer." I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." So
that's awesome. So this is what we
this weekend we'll have one more surprise this weekend.
Okay.
And then we're going to start working on revamping some of the other menu items. Just always keep things changing and different and interesting.
When you say surprise, we're talking about a food item?
Oh yeah, we're gonna start rolling out a chicken pot pie for these cold winter months. So.
You heard it here. I didn't need you to drop it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, come to the diner and check it out.
We'll edit that out. This is what happens on live TV. That sounds awesome. If you missed it, you missed it. But get out there because you got to have another new thing this weekend. Oh, that sounds incredible, dude. I love that idea.
It's just too cold. You need like warm, cozy food, you know. Then
yeah,
we'll lighten things up in the springtime.
Okay, that's fair. I have a feeling that I'm probably, and this is a big deal for me, dude. I'm probably gonna end up getting some meatballs this week.
Yeah, the meatballs are another one of my favorites. Meatballs are good.
I already talked about how much I love the sauce. So you got pork and beef, the combo with the ricotta and the rosemary. I also, you mentioned that's another important part of the meatball situation, right? Is
the ricotta cheese?
Yeah, the not just the ricotta, but the cheese that's in the meatballs themselves, right? It brings a flavor and it brings a texture, which then henceforth brings that flavor and texture to the sauce, like we talked about before. This is all part of what makes a great, pasta with meatballs or a meatball sandwich. Going back to, we talked about Rockies earlier. That's a reason why we do make an effort to get out there on Fridays when we can, because Fridays, for those of you who are not aware, are Parm Fridays. And that's when Billy does chicken parm, eggplant parm, meatball parm, and an occasion he will loop in a veal parm, which I've had and is spectacular. Matter of fact, I think they had whatever it was, I'm sure it had to do with supplies and whatnot. They rolled the meatball into Saturday, and they were actually doing it for a couple of bucks off the meatball sub. Now, I didn't get there until 12:30, 1 o'clock. They were already sold out. But if you guys are into parm, Rockies has a couple incredible parms. But again, Chef Brian and the Laundry's mozzarella sticks with the tomato sauce, battered and fried, served with the tomato sauce for $10. I mean, you saw the tray before. There were at least 8 mozzarella sticks in that order.
It's about 6 to 8 depending on size,
exactly.
We want to make food like it's a neighborhood spot, so people got to be able to go there 2 or 3 times a week, and you're paying $18 for order mozzarella sticks. You're probably not going to be able to do that twice a week.
There's a guy. So one of my inspirations and one of my honestly one of my role models for this this media stuff, whatever you want to call it, is John Park, aka the Hungry Asian from up in Roanoke, Virginia, and he has a running thing that's called "What Can I Get for $10?" I'm gonna have to tell him to add this to the list. But here's the thing: this is what I love about you guys, right? If John wanted to come to the Laundry Diner, which I'm sure he's down here about half a dozen times a year. I'm sure he's gonna get around to it. He has, just from what I'm looking at in front of me, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got at least 4 options of things on this menu that he can get for $10. And again, one of them is and again, I want to make sure I'm being factually accurate also. These are mozzarella nuggies, are what they're called at the Laundry Diner. So sticks is actually insulting to the size of the thickness of the sticks that you're getting there. Again, I showed the photo before. These are hefty guys, right? These are mozzarella nuggies. They are thick. The cheese is perfect. You saw Robbie's cheese pull. The sauce is great. And I'm probably going to end up, I'm thinking I'm going to probably go meatballs. But I don't know. There might be one of those ones where I plan ahead and end up taking some stuff home to enjoy over the weekend when hopefully we'll get some more good football. And I said this to Eric on Friday when we were talking about Choo Choo Barbecue. So I'm gonna bring my voice down low for this. I might have to try the Mama's meatloaf, but you are treading you are treading a very steep slope, my friend, because first of all, you're selling meatloaf, which is, it's going to sound crazy. My mother's meatloaf is so good that growing up, we actually called it meat love because it was just so incredible. You're not just making meatloaf, but you're calling it Mama's meatloaf. Mama happens to be one of the many nicknames. They tend to get very humorous that I have for my mom. She doesn't particularly like all of them, but Mama is one of the very brief ones. So calling it Mama's meatloaf, I'm gonna have to keep that one on the DL. I might not be able to post that one if I throw that into the mix this weekend.
That's fair. It's hard to do nostalgic dishes, and meatloaf's one of them because everyone has a different interpretation of what a good one is, or
Yeah,
they all have very fond or not so fond feelings about it. So
yeah,
that's a tricky dish to pull off on a menu.
for sure, for sure. What's this? The classic. So this is a little. This is kind of a little. Is this or it? Okay, it's an or.
Yeah,
So
it's an or.
the
So
classic is
we moved
right.
away from that on the menu.
Okay,
It was there kind of just for that indecisive person who didn't really know what they want, and
right.
you get like a protein and two sides. Obviously, you can always still do that, so you just get everything a la carte. But
Yeah.
for a while, we had it printed on there as an
Okay.
option. But
Okay.
I want that space for more composed dishes. So we
Yes.
just took it off for now.
And I can't say I blame you for that. I'm just yeah, this thing's going to be updated because that's the thing. It's got to be a job too to keep up with the printing and everything because you guys really are adding stuff on a regular basis. The oysters are still there. They got Tybee Oyster Company salt bombs, $3.75 each. Apple shallot mignonette, saltine crackers, lemon. Does that say lemon cheek?
It's just a lemon wedge, yeah. A little squeezer.
Gotcha. So there's some stuff to look forward to here, folks, at the Laundry Diner. I'm excited to come back for dinner and try a couple more of these things. Before I let you go, we talk about food offline quite a bit. What are some things, and it could even be, again, doesn't necessarily, just like I said to Eric the other day, doesn't have to be local. You went back up to New York for a couple of weeks for Christmas. I'm sure you probably do get out and about once in a while when you're not working. What are some things that you have either enjoyed recently or that you have had your eye on that you're looking forward to getting into food wise?
It's been a long time, I think, since I went out and had one of those experiences, which is just absolutely incredible, just because this project, the Laundry Diner, has just been taking up so much of my time.
Yeah.
The last great meal I had in Savannah was probably at Kyle Giacomino's place, Lucia, down the Starland Yard.
Yeah.
Everything there was just perfect. He did such a good job. And then same thing anytime, my wife and I can get out to date night. It's Bro Shoes is on the top of our list. I
Why
think
not?
they did a beef fat oyster a few weeks back.
The beef fat mignonette, the warm mignonette.
It was probably one of the best oysters I've ever had in my life. It was insane.
Dude, I did not want that taste to go away.
Yeah, it's unreal. It was delicious.
And the nori shroom one was good too. But that warm beef mignon, I've never had a warm mignonette before. That it was either a roasted or a grilled. I think it might have been a grilled with the warm beef tallow mignonette. Blew me away.
Yeah, that's insane. So, other than that, our like real favorite spot to go, like on a quick little lunch break date kind of thing, is we live not too far, Tacos and Tequila.
Okay.
And I mean, if you want to be fed in and out in like 20 minutes, not pay too much, that place is kind of on our rotation.
I got to check that out. I do not end up doing a lot of, for some reason, I've never had Italian food in Savannah, other than your mozzarella sticks and Rocky's Deli. I've never had actual Italian food. My brother-in-law did get us, my brother-in-law and my brother's in-law own a cheese shop up in Biddeford. Not the one that's the chef, but the other one who's pretty darn knowledgeable about food and stuff like that. Ian, him and his wife Sarah got us gift card to Veritina for the holiday, so I'm looking forward to that. I've heard really good things about that.
Veritina was good. I haven't been there since shortly after they opened, but I remember having a very, very good meal there.
I haven't been there, period. So I'm amped. I did enjoy Lucia. I want to go back and I want to do some of the pizza and some of the other stuff. That night we just did a bruschetta, a couple of clams, and we each enjoyed the pasta dish. Kyle's always done a great job ever since, started with Vittoria in the yard there. I'm excited about Fish Bar in the old squirrel space. That looks kind of cool.
Yeah, they look like they're doing pretty cool stuff there.
I'm a big Yukio guy, like you said, bro shoes. I also have to get to Garden Square.
Haven't been there either, but everything is in the Starland district now. So.
It's all there. I mean, that's yep. I tell people I don't no apologies. I mean, I like Eastern Wharf too. I love Fleeting and all that kind of stuff down there. But like, I am a not strictly, but I spend most of my time in Savannah, in Starland. I'm actually pretty excited because I'm pretty sure that we're going to do, if not next week, it's going to be if not this week, it's going to be in the near future. Brian Gomez Martinez, aka Quattro Spice on Instagram, is the chef over there at Garden Square. I think we might be doing something on site with him. Either way, I'm going to catch up with him soon too. There is so much talent out in that part of town. I know that you guys aren't technically considered Starland, but Starland adjacent. It's in the general
it's a few blocks away.
Exactly. There's a lot of talent over there, dude. I mean, and it's not like it's all brand new, but we've touched on a few of them already. I also like to pop in the vault. I'm a big Rhino Group fan. Flock to the Walk's probably my favorite of all of them, but that whole section over there, and then you're not even getting into not far from there, obviously, Ardsley and Eden and stuff like that.
There's a Slow Fire also over on Waters.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Slow Fire did a pop-up at Lot 9 over here in Bluffton, like 4 Sundays in December, and I hit it up, and it was awesome. And
best brisket I've had in forever.
Really, really good. I was flying solo for about a week because my wife was up visiting said family up there in Portland. So I went to Slow Fire and I got pretty much everything. And that was what I ate like during the course of that several days to a week or whatever that I was home.
Did he have the oxtails when you were there?
No, they did not have the oxtails. Let me ask you this, because I'm a little bit sensitive when it comes to oxtails. Is it served like on the bone situation?
Yep.
I have a tough time with that. I don't know what it is. That bone, for whatever reason, I acknowledge, listen, one of my favorite soups in the area is the French onion soup at Chez George, which has braised oxtail in it. I like oxtail as a meat. I like it in things. I just have a hard time with that tailbone. I don't know what
it's a little gnarly. It's a gnarly looking bone.
It's tough to look at. Yeah, that radial situation. Yeah, that's a little tough for me. And there's not a lot that I let stop me. I mean, after all, during the soup tour, I went to what's it called, El Nopal, and I had the menudo, which is the beef stomach soup, and it was incredible. And again, that texture was a little off-putting too. It reminded me of like tripe or whatever, like the intestines. But yeah, it was interesting. Some of that stuff is tough for me texture wise, but what were we saying? You were talking, the Slow Fire.
The Slow Fire.
Yeah. I thought it was all what they did that day. That's what I was thinking of. They sold out very quickly that day of they had like dinosaur
the beef ribs,
giant beef ribs.
They're sick. They're awesome.
Some of these guys are just really making it difficult for me. I mean, Beato's did it again this past weekend. I saw I think it was Justin Patton, the sushi dude, who had a great conversation with last season. He works at Farm and he works at the kitchen over in Beaufort and does a lot of catering stuff. Whether it's shucking oysters and he also does a sushi class, all kinds of cool stuff. He was there and he was talking about these beef cheeks that they had. And, when you start getting into the beef cheeks and the dinosaur beef ribs and the the burnt ends and stuff like that. I mean, it is some really, really incredible stuff. I've never been like the biggest barbecue guy, but there is so much good barbecue around here. I was going to say, you talk about tacos and tequila. For some reason, I don't end up eating Mexican food around. As a matter of fact, for a long time, we've been trying to get over to, of course, I'm not going to be able to think of it now. There's a taco place over in Savannah that we used to go to. It's the same owners as a place that we used to go to back at work in New Jersey, and we've been trying to get there for, and yes, I'll end up sometimes, I'll go to do a quick lunch at Java Burrito, not the original one, but the one over here in Hilton Head.
I didn't even know there was a second location.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, at least, I mean, I don't know which one is the original one. That's obviously the original one that I knew of. But no, I know Tacos and Tequila gets good reviews. I know people like Orale.
There's just one place a little bit further on the south side. It's in the same shopping center as Ben's, and that's very, very good taco spot too. Very kind of authentic feel to it.
You said it as Ben's, you said?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. It's like a neighborhood grill, bar and grill.
Oh yes, okay, got it. What I was talking about was a taco affair in the South Historic District.
Okay,
we've been trying to get there for a while. 401 West Hall Street in Savannah. It's over by Forsyth Park. We've been trying to get there for a while because it's the same owners as this place that we used to go to at lunchtime back at work. But again, it just brings you back to the same thing. It's like when I go out there, I'm so like lured back in, and I'll chip away eventually at these places that I want to try. But when you have places like you said, like Bro Shoes and Laundry, and these ones that I always have a great experience at. Like it's been a while since I've been in Cotton and Rye. That's another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But when you have like I said, I end up out really more towards Starland, and when you really like, and you like going to Yukio, and you like going to Bro Shoes, and you like going to you guys at the Laundry, and now it's like, okay, now I got Fish Bar there that I want to go to. I end up playing the hits more often, and it drops those other ones that I want to try. Like I said, I'll get to them eventually, but if I hear that you're doing this or Bro Shoes has this, I immediately have this sense of stress that's like, I need to get there. I'm still mad at myself that I didn't get to the Wild before, and I know they kind of cut it a little bit short, and they're going to be doing something different that's very cool. I think Tony posted something that was like about a Miami Vice type of inspired thing, but I missed that that Gotti's, that Italian inspired thing at the Wild in the room out there.
I see that they had done something like that.
We were talking about Italian food. I mean, that was basically, was Tony highlighting like recipes from like his family and stuff. And, like I said, Joss was away for a week. I was trying to wait for her to come back to go there. One weekend I wanted to do it, but something came up. I was going to go there and just go by myself. And then by the time I had a chance to do it, I thought I had already missed it. And then Miles mentioned that they ended up cutting it short because it just wasn't getting as much active. And that's a tough time of the year too, weather-wise,
even though you're inside. It's supposed to be outside up there, so.
Yeah, they do have that room inside, but it's not a room really meant for, winter dining, even though I did do the sushi thing last year and I was comfortable. Like I want to bring, that's one of those things where like, I would love to bring to go there with my parents. That's what I planned on doing. But my parents are in their 70s. My dad complains about being cold when he gets in my house. Forget about sitting in the room at the Wild. That's basically, it's like outdoors adjacent. So we covered a lot of stuff today, man. Before we let you go, you got to be feeling good about this Harbaugh hire, no?
It's probably the best thing that's happened to me regarding one of my sports teams all year.
Oh yeah, well, probably past it. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Knicks are starting to lose again, so that's not great. So
it's hard for me as a net fan for most of my life, but I'm not gonna lie, I've I jumped on board, within these last couple of years. I'm never going to be a fan of James Dolan, but
No,
it's hard
he's
to
not.
not. Awful. But it's hard to not. I mean, fortunately, we ended up finally getting rid of Wilpon, even though there were some highlights at some point there and there. When you end up going down that road, it's like sometimes at some point you have to lose, excuse me, the privilege of owning a team, which isn't to say stuff that happened with Wilpons was anywhere close to like what happens with that
Dan
weirdo from
Schneider
what's that?
Dan Schneider from the Commanders.
You said Dan Schneider. I was going to say Donald Sterling, but you could put them all on a boat and send them, wherever. Send them to wherever the Epstein Island was. They can all hang out there together. I'm not saying I'm not putting Wilpon in the same category as them, but it just comes to a certain point where it's really like I feel like you kind of lose the privilege to. And so and I feel I'm happy for the Maras and the Tishes that they finally got a guy where it's really not. I mean, Stephen A. can talk whatever kind of nonsense he wants about these last couple of years.
He's just trying to get a reaction out of people.
Exactly. The last couple of years, if anything, have been on Lamar Jackson, not on Jim Harbaugh. And I'm not speaking out of school here when I say to myself, as much as he is a talented player, I bet in a private moment, John Harbaugh would tell you that he is happy to get away from that situation and get to, granted, Dart needs to not be putting himself at risk as regularly as he does.
Yeah, he's got to stay out of that blue tent.
Exactly. But I guarantee it seems like Harbaugh is genuinely excited about the idea of, and now just the idea of getting a fresh start and not having this.
That defense is going to be sick. They get one more piece on offense. You have Neighbors on one side. You go draft another wide receiver. This Scadaboo kid's a psychopath, which is fun to watch.
Love him. Yeah. I agree with you. Draft another receiver. They were even talking about someone that played at Arizona State with Scadaboo. That's a good receiver that's coming out in this year's draft.
Good. You need a cornerback to shore up the secondary. But
I think
a lot of good pieces.
Ideally, both, and then you have free agency as well. There's a couple darn good defensive coordinators that are out there now too, especially since the Bills fire McDermott.
I mean, Robert Saleh is available.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
That'd be a nice fit. It would piss off Jet fans too.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of moves that are still left to be made, especially since nobody knew that this Buffalo job was going to be available, and now you have Mike McDaniel out there. Now you have Sean McDermott. I know that they're saying that Shula is getting some interest. It's definitely going to continue to be an interesting offseason, but a tremendous relief that we finally got someone that is going to instill, massive culture change, which is what we need. Yeah. And I think that's actually the perfect way to close this out. So you've worked in restaurants in New York. You've worked in restaurants here in Savannah. You've worked some really high-end esteemed establishments, like we said, the Gray and all the history that they have there. Husk, everybody down here in the South knows about Husk. It's institution status in terms of, high-end restaurants in the South. What is it that you like about where you are now? And maybe just cast a little bit of a light on, because I think this is something that is often underestimated. The chefs that I'm grateful to have gotten to know, and in certain cases like yourself have become friends with, this is something that they talk about or privately most of the time, not publicly, but how important it is. And when I get to see it in action, it's really what is kind of the most exciting to me. Talk about culture as it pertains to the restaurant and what it's like and how important it is to know, as an example, when you're up in New York on vacation for the holidays, that that group is going to take excellent care of me when I come in there on Christmas Eve morning to start my day off with breakfast at the Laundry Diner.
Well, like I said before, it starts with the leadership up top. I think both Liz and James just curated such a good environment where you want to be doing the right thing for them all the time, just because you see the hard work that they're putting in, and you want to reciprocate that and show them, that like, one, it's appreciated, and two, that you want to be doing that good of a job all the time as well. So it really starts with them and just being able to, have the steps back and treat everyone respectfully and well, and just be good owners.
Yes. It starts at the top, and that's how they built. Someone's complaining about what we were talking about. As if I care. You can see yourself out. I had a blast for the last hour and a half talking about all this stuff. So the opinions, the lion shall not be concerned with the opinions of sheep. Delete comment. Sorry, Andrea. We don't do negativity here. I shouldn't have even given you the stage to share that with you. The culture, it's like you said, it starts at the top with those guys. I was excited when you guys opened and you talked, and they put Alex in as the manager there. He always has done a tremendous job over at the tap room. And the one thing I will say universally, I've always felt welcomed, and I've always felt like that I've been valued as a customer at all of these places. And again, not just because you and I have connected and share some similar interests, and I'm looking forward to, continuing to, enjoy having these conversations with you about sports, about wrestling, about food. But the one consistent thing that I will say, and I just saw this yesterday come across Instagram, it was two guys, you might have seen me share it. It was two guys having a conversation, two restaurant industry guys. And they're basically saying, you can't correct bad food, but food, if it's good and not great. And again, I'm not saying that about your food, because your food is awesome, but they were just speaking in general. Food, they're okay with food just being good if the service is superior. And if the person is treated well and has a great experience. Again, that's not going to correct bad food. But if the food, even if the food isn't spectacular, if you have a good experience and you're treated well, you're going to return to that place.
Yeah, I think that hospitality is a big, it's like the other half of why people go out to eat. You want to be taken care of, and you want to be able to not think about things, and you want to be pampered to and treated well, and act like you are a family somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. So I will continue to be a loyal customer and patron. I'll continue to spread the word. I keep giving Tyler a hard time. I said, you got to go over there and get that corrected, especially now that he has Robbie and Lydia's endorsement. This place is awesome. I love everything about it. And I really enjoyed hanging out. I think, so you and I have to make a deal. Since I went by there today to stop and see you for a minute and forgot that you guys are closed on Mondays, I will say I'm nearing the end of my career as an in-person spectator. Now, my friend Kevin, who lives down in Orlando, who I've done a couple of big events with, he was giving me a hard time when I said, after probably 39, maybe, I said that I was like retiring. That was like my 6th WrestleMania. And I was like, I'm not going to, this is the end for me, or whatever, in terms of going to WrestleMania. Says, oh yeah, what are you talking about? Well, famous last words, because, I would have liked to get to Philly, and it wasn't going to happen. Philly wasn't going to happen, 2 years ago. Vegas wasn't going to happen this past year. It's probably not going to happen again this year. And I'm certainly not going to Saudi Arabia. That being said, and it's almost to an extent, let's be real, they've kind of made the decision for us, because the prices for some of these events have just gotten absolutely
they're insane,
astronomical, insane. So let's just make a gentleman's agreement, because one thing that we know will not be insane and will still be reasonable is when we get Monday Night Raw, or God forbid a SmackDown. I don't think we've had a SmackDown at End Market yet, right? I think we've had a couple.
I think there's been one SmackDown. I think it's 3 or 4 years ago.
I think you might be right, and it might have fallen around one of those holiday weekend, like if it's Memorial Day weekend or something like that on a Monday, like I'm not going to that. It's like that's not just because that's my birthday, but it's like it's Memorial Day weekend. I want to be like coming back from ideally the beach or something like that, and barbecuing with my parents, and maybe doing that on a Sunday and doing nothing on a Monday, which would include going to End Market. But I will say I can pull out of Lot J or most of that and be in my driveway in like 22 minutes, which is pretty sweet. Because you can get an easy escape out of town. Unlike my trying to get out of town today took me almost an hour with the parade and everything. But if you time it right, yeah. I mean, listen, no disrespect. I just don't understand how you completely shut down MLK and Broughton and expect people to be able to get out, like get in or out.
Get anywhere, really.
Anywhere, exactly. So we'll make a deal that we're going to catch a Raw or a SmackDown. I think I did go to 2 AEW events, and we won't get into this now, but I can't do AEW. It's just not. We talked about that offline. It's not
very performative, you know.
Exactly. So we'll make that happen. Maybe we'll even incorporate, since Monday's your day off, maybe we'll be able to incorporate a bite to eat. But either way, we're going to hang soon. I'm going to see you over at the store soon. If not this week, certainly in the near future as I test out more of these new items. Obviously, you keep them coming, and you keep setting them up, and I'll keep knocking them down as far as working my way through the menu. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to touch on, or anything else that you want to drop in before we let you go?
I don't think so. Just just want to remind the people out there that the booze, the full bar will hit this weekend, and just another reason to come hang out.
Full bar this weekend. I should go back to that real quick. This is from a couple of months ago, so it doesn't look exactly the same today. But this area upstairs to hang out in, you see, you got some screens. This is the downstairs area, but you got a great spot to hang out in. You want to go get some food. You want to go get a couple of drinks. You're going to have more options for all of this stuff at the Laundry Diner. So go check them out. Again, if you're going to get there during busy times, you got to be prepared to wait for a little while, because again, this is a very popular place. Do you have the same problem with me when they do these, when it's Monday night, which is kind of like your hangover, not hangover, but your weekend, kind of like, and that, especially if it's your day off and it's like, okay, you're rounding out your weekend and you're used to this show that we enjoy most Mondays coming on at 8:00, and then it's before 6:00 and it's already over. And now football season we're down to 4 teams. I find myself not knowing what to do with myself on Monday nights when they do these Europe or on the other side of the world Raws.
You got to track down some new streaming shows or something.
I guess so. Yeah. I wanted to watch that new Netflix show, The Rip, but Portnoy did not give it. He chose to not count, because of course he's on Netflix now too. They got 3 of their podcasts on Netflix. He opted not to weigh in an opinion on it. I'm going to still give it a whirl myself, and I'll make my own judgment, because
I've heard good things about it. So I think it's probably worth a watch.
Some guys like that, I'll watch them in anything. Like, Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Some of these guys you could just put in anything. You could have them sitting there just having a conversation. I'll watch it. Certainly feel better than I did after paying, I don't know even what it was, $40-$50 for the last AEW pay-per-view, just because Max was back. And he did win, but I could barely keep my eyes open 6 hours later. And I was like, I probably could have saved that $50. Yeah, but I digress. Yeah, it's a little rough. Well, thanks, man. We did over an hour and a half. I always joke around. I try to keep these to an hour, but when it's a conversation that's as free-flowing as this one was, and I anticipated that it would be, we got a little bit of our, albeit a little late, we got a little bit of our Monday Night Raw watch along here, and we got a lot of talk about food and a lot of talk about all the cool stuff that's going on at the Laundry. We'll save the Mets talk for pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, let's wait to see if they put a team together or not.
Right, exactly. In the meantime, hopefully the Knicks will turn things around. The Giants look like they already have, and things continue to look bigger and better and brighter for Chef Brian Fiasconaro and the Laundry Diner. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick.
Have a good night.
You too.